Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss Shakespeare sonnet number 144. Two loves I have of comfort and despair. Sonnet 144. Two loves I have of comfort and despair. Published in 1609. William Shakespeare, 1564-1616. Form and structure. Sonnet 144 is written in the traditional Shakespearean or English sonnet form, consisting of 14 lines in iambic pentameter and following the rhyme scheme AB AB CD CD EF EF GG. This tightly controlled form allows Shakespeare to juxtapose contrasting ideas in a compact, rhetorically powerful manner. Content and central themes. The sonnet opens with a paradoxical declaration. The speaker possesses two conflicting loves, one that brings comfort and one that brings despair. Throughout the poem, these loves are depicted as two opposing spiritual forces or spirits within the speaker, one represented by a fair man, that is the better angel, and the other by a dark woman, the worser spirit. The poem explores themes of internal conflict, duality, and the complexity of love, hinting at the speaker's divided affections and the ambiguities of desire. Tone and style. The tone is simultaneously confessional and ambivalent, marked by a tension between admiration and self-reproach. The language is vivid and symbolic, with the two loves being personified as angelic and demonic forces, reflecting the contradictory nature of the speaker's emotional life. Now let's analyze the background of the poem. Literary and historical context. Composed during the English Renaissance, Sonnet 144 is part of Shakespeare's larger sonnet sequence published in 1609 that famously explores themes of beauty, love, and time. The sequence is known for its complex and sometimes controversial treatment of desire, often addressing both a young man, that is the fair youth, and a mysterious dark woman, that is the dark lady. Sonnet number 144 is one of the key texts in this debate, and as it explicitly contrasts a love for a man with a love for a woman. Interpretative debates. Critics have long debated the exact reference of the better angel and the worser spirit. One common interpretation is that the fair man represents the idealized virtuous love associated with the fair youth, while the dark woman represents a corrupting or destructive force linked to the dark lady. Other readings view the sonnet as reflecting a broader internal conflict where the speaker wrestles with two inherently opposed aspects of desire, that is, one that uplifts and one that damns. This duality has been read as evidence of Shakespeare's willingness to challenge conventional notions of love and to expose its inherent contradictions. Influence of Renaissance thought. The idea of conflicting forces within the soul was familiar in Renaissance thought. The imagery of angels and devils as competing influences recalls medieval and classical ideas about the nature of love, morality, and human passion. Shakespeare uses these images to not only express personal ambivalence, but also to comment on the broader, often contradictory nature of desire in his time. Now let's analyze the critical interpretations, duality and their inner conflict. Many critics see sonnet number 144 as a study in duality, capturing the simultaneous attraction to and a repulsion by different aspects of love. The better angel, that is the fair man, is often interpreted as symbolizing a noble idealized love that promises comfort, whereas the worst spirit, that is the dark woman, represents a love that brings despair and a moral corruption. This interpretation reflects a broader critical consensus that Shakespeare's sonnets are as much about the inner workings of the poet's soul as they are about external relationships. Ambiguity of sexual desire. Sonnet number 144 has been central to debates on Shakespeare's treatment of sexuality, as it explicitly contrasts male and female forms of love in a way that it challenges simple heteronormative or monolithic readings. Some scholars argue that the poem reveals the poet's complex and possibly ambivalent attitudes towards desire, suggesting that the experience of love is multifaceted and can encompass seemingly contradictory feelings. This ambiguity has made the sonnet a focal point for both traditional and accurate readings of Shakespeare's work. The poetic persona and a self-reflection. Critics also note that the sonnet reflects a high degree of self-awareness on the part of the speaker. The admiration of holding two loves implies a conscious recognition of the internal divisions that shapes the poet's experience. Such a self-reflection has been seen as emblematic of the Renaissance preoccupation with the self-identity and the internal conflicts that arise from the interplay of different facets of desire. Moral and aesthetic implications. The stark language used to describe the two loves, with terms like a comfort and a despair, has prompted discussions about the moral judgments embedded in the poem. Some interpretations suggest that the speaker values the purity and uplifting nature of the love represented by the fair man, while simultaneously condemning or feeling tormented by the love represented by the dark woman. This dichotomy raises questions about the standards by which beauty and virtue are measured, and whether such standards are inherently flawed or biased. Influence on later literature. The themes of conflict and duality in sonnet number 144 have resonated with later writers and critics, influencing subsequent explorations of contradictory desires in poetry. Its open-ended nature and the tension between competing loves have allowed for multiple readings, ensuring its place as one of the more provocative and debated sonnets in Shakespeare's canon. Now let's go to the line-by-line explanation of the poem. The first line. Two loves I have, of comfort and despair. The opening line introduces the poem's central paradox. That is, the speaker is bound by two forms of love that simultaneously provide solace, that is comfort, and a sorrow, that is despair. This duality immediately sets the tone for an internal conflict where pleasure and pain coexist, a theme that recurs throughout the sonnet. Line 2, which, like two spirits, do suggest me still. Here Shakespeare compares these conflicting loves to two spirits that continually influence the speaker's thoughts. The simile implies that these loves are almost supernatural forces, persistently present, elusive, and in constant interplay, hinting at the idea that love has an otherworldly power over the heart. Line 3. The better angel is a man, and the baser spirit is a woman. In this famous line, the speaker contrasts his two loves by personifying them. One is embodied by a man, that is the better angel, and the other by a woman, that is the worse spirit. This striking image has spurred much debate, with many critics reading it as an expression of the speaker's divided affections, often associated with a fair youth and the dark lady in Shakespeare's sonnet sequence, and suggesting that the idealized love, that is comfort, is represented in masculine form, while the corrupting, painful love, that is despair, takes a feminine guise. Now line 4. I do not know which is which, for I know not. The speaker confesses uncertainty about the true nature and identity of those two loves. This admission deepens the sense of inner conflict, as it reveals that even he is unable to clearly discern which force is beneficial and which is destructive, emphasizing love's ambiguous power. Now line number 5. Whether the one I cherish brings true delight. Here the speaker questions if the love that it comforts him truly provides genuine joy. This line continues the exploration of ambiguity, as the speaker remains unsure whether the source of his solace is as virtuous as he believes, or if it conceals a latent source of pain. Line number 6. Or the other with its vice invites despair. In contrast to the previous line, the speaker now considers that the love associated with the worse spirit might be tainted by vice, and thus is a source of his anguish. The juxtaposition of delight with the despair reinforces the sonnet's central tension, that is, simultaneous presence of elevating and degrading forces in his experience of love. Now line number 7. Yet both, despite their strife, do hold me fast. Despite the conflict between comfort and despair, the speaker admits that he remains captive to both loves. This line underscores the inevitability of the dual influence. No matter how contradictory, each love exerts a powerful, inescapable hold over him. Now line number 8. And in the battle, my heart is rent in twain. The imagery of the heart being rent in twain vividly portrays the emotional division wrought by these competing loves. The line conveys the deep personal cost of such duality, suggesting that the internal war leaves the speaker feeling split and conflicted. Line number 9. For in the joy one love provides I find. Here the speaker begins to explore the positive aspect of this duality, acknowledging that one of these loves indeed offers genuine joy. This moment of recognition introduces the idea that love, even when it divides, also enriches the soul with its capacity to uplift. Line number 10. A comfort that sustains me through life's pain. Continuing from the previous line, the speaker claims that the love which brings joy also offers enduring comfort in the face of life's inevitable suffering. The notion that comfort and despair coexist suggests that the full spectrum of love, its warmth and its sting, is essential to the human experience. Now line number 11. While the other with its dark and bitter art. In this line, the speaker turns his attention to the second love, characterizing it as possessing a dark and bitter art. The choice of words such as dark and bitter highlights its corrosive influence, implying that this love has a quality of a seduction that ultimately leads to emotional ruin. Line number 12. enthralls my soul and leaves me void of light. The imagery here is dark. The love that embodies despair not only captivates the speaker but also plunges him into a metaphorical darkness. This line powerfully communicates the idea that while love can illuminate, its antithesis can also obliterate hope and joy, leaving one in profound desolation. Now line number 13. Thus in my breast two rival passions dwell. The speaker summarizes the internal conflict by declaring that two competing passions reside within his heart. This line encapsulates the essence of the sonnet's meditation on duality, affirming that his emotional life is marked by an enduring struggle between opposing forces. Now the last line. And I make one love a double and a one double love. In this final line, Shakespeare resolves the paradox by suggesting that these contradictory loves are not separate but are interwoven into a single complex experience. The phrase, one love a double, implies that his love is enriched and complicated by its dual nature, achieving a kind of completeness despite or perhaps because of its inherent contradictions.